You want to do what? My father's voice echoed through our pristine suburban kitchen, making the designer light fixtures tremble. His face, already red from his third scotch of the evening, darkened to an alarming shade of purple. I want to start a software company, I repeated, trying to keep my voice steady. I've already developed a prototype. It's a platform that helps small businesses. Absolutely not. He slammed his glass down. We didn't pay for your Stanford degree so you could waste your life on some pipe dream. You're joining the family business. End of discussion. I looked at my mother, hoping for support. She sat perfectly still at our marble island, maintaining her usual careful distance from conflict. The diamond tennis bracelet I'd given her for Christmas, bought with my savings from secret freelance coding jobs, glinted on her wrist. Mom, I tried. You've seen how many small businesses are struggling with digital transformation. My platform could really help. Daniel. She sighed, examining her manicure. Your father's right. This tech obsession of yours, it's not practical. Norton Industries needs you. The company's been in the family for 3 generations. What they really meant was that Norton Industries, our family's industrial supply business, was failing. They needed my programming skills to modernize their outdated systems, to help them compete in a rapidly digitizing market. But I had bigger dreams. I'm not asking for money. I said, I have savings. I just need some time, Toe. Time? My father barked out a laugh. You want time to play with computers while real businesses are at stake. While your sister is already making partner at her law firm. Ah, yes, my perfect older sister, Sophia. Harvard Law, youngest partner in her firm's history, married to a surgeon. The standard against which all my failures were measured. This isn't playing, I insisted. I've already got interest from potential clients. Small businesses need affordable software solutions, and the big tech companies aren't serving them. My platform cooled. The glass shattered against the wall inches from my head. Enough! My father roared, whiskey dripping down the expensive wallpaper. You have a choice. Join Norton Industries on Monday or get out. See how long you last without our support. My mother flinched at the noise, but said nothing. She never did. I looked at them both, my father trembling with rage, my mother avoiding my eyes, and made the decision that would change everything. I choose out. What? I'm leaving. I stood up, surprisingly calm. Good luck modernizing Norton Industries without me. You ungrateful. My father started toward me, but I was already heading upstairs. I had known this moment might come. My backpack was already packed with essentials: laptop, portable hard drive, 2 changes of clothes. My important documents were safely stored in a safety deposit box. Most of my savings were in an account my parents couldn't access. You have 1 hour. My father shouted up the stairs. Then I want you out of this house. I grabbed my emergency bag, my favorite hoodie, and took one last look at my childhood bedroom. The walls still displayed my coding competition medals, science fair awards, the framed article about the app I developed in high school that had caught Stanford's attention. My phone buzzed. A text from my best friend Marcus. Operation Escape still on. Happening now, I typed back. Plan B initiated. Marcus and I had gamed out this scenario months ago, when I first decided to pursue my startup dreams. He had a small apartment above his family's restaurant where I could crash until I got on my feet. As I headed for the door, my mother finally spoke. Daniel, please. Be reasonable. Your father only wants what's best. No, I cut her off. He wants what's best for Norton Industries. There's a difference. I walked out without looking back. The first night in my car was surreal. I'd parked on a quiet street 2 blocks from my parents' house, close enough to maintain a strong connection to their high-speed Wi-Fi network, which I'd installed and secured myself, far enough that they wouldn't spot me. My laptop glowed in the darkness as I continued coding, the familiar rhythm of keystrokes drowning out the voice in my head that whispered I was making a huge mistake. "You sure about this?" Marcus asked when he brought me dinner. "Is Mother's incredible pad thai? My couch is still available." I shook my head, showing him my workspace. Laptop, mobile hotspot for backup internet, power bank for emergencies. I need to stay mobile for now. Can't risk them finding me and trying to force me back. He peered at my screen. "What exactly are you building?" I pulled up my prototype's interface. I call it Smart Start. It's an all-in-one digital platform for small businesses. Point of sale, inventory management, customer relationships, online presence. Everything they need to compete in today's market, but simplified and affordable. Like what your dad's company needs? Similar, but designed for smaller businesses that can't afford enterprise solutions. I thought of all the local shops I'd seen struggle and fail because they couldn't keep up with digital transformation. There's a huge market being ignored by big tech. Marcus nodded slowly. His family's restaurant still used paper order tickets and a cash register from the 1990s. "How long until it's ready?" "Basic version? 2 months. I've got most of the core functions working. Just need to polish the interface and add some features." What I didn't tell him was that I was also secretly documenting everything wrong with Norton Industries systems. Every vulnerability, every inefficiency, every missed opportunity for digital innovation. Not out of spite, but because I knew that someday they'd need exactly what I was building. They just didn't know it yet. Life settled into a strange routine. During the day, I'd work from various coffee shops, buying the minimum necessary to justify using their space and Wi-Fi. At night, I'd park near my parents' house, using their high-speed connection to upload code and run complex tests. I lived on protein bars, coffee, and Marcus's family's leftovers. Showered at a cheap gym membership. Learned which parking lots were safe to sleep in and which to avoid. It wasn't comfortable, but it was productive. Without distractions, without my father's constant criticism or my mother's passive disappointment, I could focus entirely on building Smart Start. 1 week in, my sister Safia tried to intervene. "This is ridiculous, Daniel," she said when she tracked me down at my usual coffee shop. "You're living in your car to prove what? That you can be as stubborn as Dad." I didn't look up from my coding. "I'm building something important. You're throwing away a guaranteed future with the family business." "The family business is dying," I said bluntly. "Dad's too proud to admit it. But their systems are ancient, their processes are inefficient, and their competitors are eating them alive. Then help fix it." I finally met her eyes. "That's exactly what I'm doing, just not the way they want." She left in frustration, but not before leaving a thick envelope on my table. Inside was $5,000 in cash with a note. "Don't be an idiot. Come home." I used the money to buy a better laptop and upgrade my development tools. The breakthrough came in month 2. I'd been approached by several small businesses interested in beta testing Smart Start. A local bookstore, a family-owned hardware store, a growing food truck business, all struggling with exactly the problems my platform was designed to solve. "This is exactly what we need," the bookstore owner said after I demonstrated the inventory management system. QuickBooks is too complicated, and the custom solutions are too expensive. How much would this cost? I quoted a price that made her eyes light up, deliberately lower than market rate, designed to build word of mouth. By month 3, I had paying customers. Small amounts, but steady income. Enough to rent a tiny studio apartment, though I kept it off the lease to stay under my parents' radar. Then came the call that changed everything. Is this Daniel Norton? The voice was professional, authoritative. Yes, this is Charles Widener from Tech Fund Ventures. We've been hearing interesting things about your Smart Start platform. My heart stopped. Tech Fund Ventures was one of the most prestigious early-stage investors in the country. One of our portfolio companies mentioned your solution. Said it's exactly what the small business market needs. Would you be interested in discussing potential investment? I gripped my phone tighter, thinking of all the nights coding in my car, all the meals skipped to buy server time, all the doubts and fears pushed aside to pursue this dream. Yes, I said, I would definitely be interested. What I didn't know then was that this conversation would set in motion a chain of events that would not only validate my vision, but also bring me face to face with my family's business failures in a way none of us could have predicted. The Tech Fund Ventures office occupied the top floor of a gleaming downtown skyscraper, exactly the kind of place my father would approve of. I adjusted my one good suit, bought secondhand for investor meetings, and tried not to look like someone who'd been living in his car 2 months ago. Charles Widener was younger than I expected, maybe early 40s, with the relaxed confidence of someone who'd made his fortune in the first .com boom. Walk me through it again, he said, gesturing to the conference room's massive display where my Smart Start demo was running. I pulled up the interface that had become as familiar as my own reflection. Small businesses are drowning in digital complexity. They need e-commerce, inventory management, customer relationship tools, but existing solutions are either too expensive, too complicated, or too limited. I demonstrated how a small business owner could set up their entire digital presence in under an hour. Point of sale, inventory tracking, customer communications, even basic analytics, all integrated, all simple enough for anyone to use. And this scales? Charles asked. Completely. The architecture is cloud-based, modular. We can add features as businesses grow, integrate with other platforms, but the core stays simple. He nodded slowly. And your current users? 28 paying customers, all from word of mouth. 0 churn rate. Average user engagement is 4 hours daily. That's impressive. He pulled up another screen. My company's incorporation documents. Innovative Solutions LLC. Registered 6 months ago. Yes, all self-funded so far. He studied me carefully. You're Jonathan Norton's son. My heart skipped. You know my father? Norton Industries was one of my first investments, back in the day, before your father bought out the minority shareholders. His expression turned thoughtful. They're having trouble adapting to digital markets, I hear. I kept my face neutral. I wouldn't know. I'm not involved with Norton Industries. Interesting. He tapped his tablet, and a new document appeared on the screen. We'd like to offer you seed funding. $2 million for a 20% stake. I tried not to show how my hands were shaking. $2 million. More money than I'd ever imagined having access to. There's one condition, Charles continued. We want you to expand your focus. Small businesses are good, but mid-sized enterprises need these solutions too. Companies like, say, Norton Industries. And there it was. The trap I'd been both expecting and dreading. You want me to target my family's business. He smiled slightly. I want you to target a market segment that desperately needs modernization. The fact that your father's company might benefit is incidental. I thought about all the nights I'd spent parked outside my parents' house, using their Wi-Fi to build something they dismissed. About my father's rage and my mother's silence. About the small businesses already thriving with Smart Start. I'll need full control of the company's direction, I said. No interference with the core mission. Of course. He slid a folder across the table. Have your lawyers review it. But Daniel, don't wait too long. This market won't stay open forever. I signed the deal 3 days later, after my sister Sophia, still a better lawyer than she knew, reviewed every clause. You're really doing this, she said, handing back the marked-up documents. Going directly against Dad's business. I'm building something that could save his business, I corrected, if he's willing to see it. She shook her head. You know he won't. Not coming from you. She was right, of course, but I had a plan for that too. The next 6 months were a blur of scaling up. I rented real office space, a converted warehouse that would have given my mother a heart attack. Hired developers, designers, sales staff. Marcus came on as head of customer success, his experience with small business owners proving invaluable. Smart Start grew faster than even Charles had predicted. Word spread through business communities about the platform that actually delivered on its promises. Our user base exploded from dozens to hundreds, then thousands. Then came the article that changed everything. Digital David versus Goliath. How Smart Start is disrupting enterprise software. The tech press had finally noticed us. The article praised our innovation, our focus on user experience, our ability to help small businesses compete with larger corporations. It also mentioned, almost as an aside, that I was the estranged son of Jonathan Norton. My phone rang minutes after the article went live. Sophia. Dad's furious, she said without preamble. He's calling an emergency board meeting. Why? Smart Start isn't competing with Norton Industries. No, but 3 of their biggest customers just announced they're switching to your platform. I sat back, stunned. We've been so focused on small businesses, I hadn't noticed the mid-sized companies starting to adopt Smart Start. There's more, Sophia continued. Their latest quarterly numbers. They're bad, Daniel. Really bad. The board is talking about forcing Dad out if he doesn't modernize their systems. I pulled up Norton Industries' public financial reports. The numbers were worse than I'd imagined. Their stock had dropped 40% in 6 months. Customer churn was accelerating. Their ancient software systems were literally driving them toward bankruptcy. They need help, I said quietly. They need you, she corrected. But you know Dad will never admit it. I thought about Charles Wagner's words about targeting mid-sized enterprises, about all the features we'd built into Smart Start that could save companies exactly like Norton Industries. Maybe, I said slowly, they don't need to know it's me. That night, I called an emergency meeting of my own team. We're launching Enterprise Solutions, I announced, pulling up the prototype I'd been quietly developing. A new division focused on larger businesses, built on the Smart Start framework, but with additional features for complex operations. Marcus frowned. I thought we were staying focused on small business. We are. But there's a whole segment of mid-sized companies being crushed between small business agility and big corporation resources. They need what we've built. I didn't mention that every feature in Enterprise Solutions had been designed specifically to solve Norton Industries' problems, that I'd spent months analyzing their weaknesses, building solutions for issues they didn't even know they had yet. The team worked around the clock for weeks. We launched enterprise solutions under a new brand, through a subsidiary company that couldn't be easily traced back to me. The marketing targeted companies exactly like Norton Industries, established businesses struggling with digital transformation. Then we waited. It didn't take long. Norton Industries' new chief technology officer, hired in desperation after their last system crash, reached out within days of our launch. The meeting was set for their headquarters. I watched via secure video feed as our sales team, carefully chosen to have no connection to me, presented enterprise solutions to my father and his board. I saw the moment he realized this was exactly what they needed. Saw him fight against admitting it. Saw the board members' eager questions about implementation and pricing. The investment would be significant, our sales lead explained, but the potential return. We'll need to see other options, my father interrupted. Jonathan, an older board member, leaned forward. We've seen 12 presentations in 2 months. This is the only solution that actually addresses our specific needs. And their track record. Impressive results with similar companies. Another board member chimed in. My cousin's manufacturing business switched to their system last quarter. Saw immediate improvements. I watched my father's face as he realized he was losing this fight. The board wanted change. Their customers demanded it. Enterprise Solutions was their best chance at survival. Fine, he growled. Start the procurement process. I closed the video feed, feeling strangely hollow. I'd done it. Created exactly what Norton Industries needed. Proved my vision was right. So why didn't it feel like victory? The answer came 3 days later when Sophia called again. Dad's drinking, she said without preamble. Really drinking. Mom's talking about separation. My stomach clenched. Because of enterprise solutions? Because he knows he failed. The company's falling apart, and he had to go begging to outsiders for help. She paused. He keeps saying he should have listened to you. I stared out my office window at the city skyline, thinking of all the choices that had led us here. My father's stubbornness, my own pride, the walls of silence we'd built between us. What if? I said slowly. There was a way to save both the company and his pride. How? I have an idea, but I'll need your help. The Norton Industries board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. on a Thursday. I sat in my car outside their headquarters, the same spot where I'd once parked to use their Wi-Fi, watching familiar faces file into the building. My father arrived last, looking older than I remembered. His normally immaculate suit was slightly rumpled, his walk less confident than the stride I'd grown up admiring. Everything ready? I asked into my phone. All set, Sophia confirmed. The board members are prepped. Charles Wagner just arrived. And Mom, in position, though she's still not sure about this. I adjusted my tie, designer now, but still not the brand my father would choose. It has to be today. The Enterprise Solutions contract needs board approval by end of week. Good luck, Sophia said softly. Try not to enjoy this too much. I smiled despite my nerves. She knew me too well. The security guard did a double take as I walked in. Last time I'd been here, I'd been escorted out after another fight about joining the family business. Now I was back on my own terms. The boardroom fell silent as I entered. My father's face went from surprised to angry to confused in rapid succession. Charles Wagner, sitting near the head of the table, merely nodded as if he'd been expecting me. What are you doing here? My father demanded. I'm here to discuss the Enterprise Solutions contract, I said calmly, placing my laptop on the table. This is a closed board meeting. Security. Actually, Charles interrupted smoothly. Mr. Norton is here at my request. As the majority investor in Enterprise Solutions, I believe his input is crucial to this discussion. My father's face went pale. You? What? I connected my laptop to the display screen, pulling up a familiar interface, but not Enterprise Solutions. Instead, I showed them the original Smart Start dashboard, complete with my earliest notes and sketches. I started building this the day you kicked me out, I explained. Using your Wi-Fi, actually, since I was living in my car at the time. The board members shifted uncomfortably. My mother, sitting quietly in her usual corner seat, finally looked directly at me. Smart Start grew faster than anyone expected, I continued. Small businesses loved it because it solved real problems simply and affordably. But I knew larger companies needed similar solutions. I switched to the Enterprise Solutions interface. Every feature in this system was designed specifically to address Norton Industries' challenges: the inventory management, the customer tracking, the integration capabilities, all built based on intimate knowledge of what this company needs. You've been spying on us? My father's voice shook with rage. No, I've been trying to save your company. The same company you wanted me to join, but only on your terms. Charles Wagner cleared his throat. The board has reviewed Mr. Norton's proposal. Enterprise Solutions isn't just a software platform, it's a potential merger opportunity. My father's head snapped up. Merger? I pulled up new slides, the detailed merger proposal I'd spent weeks preparing. Smart Start Technology would acquire a controlling interest in Norton Industries, I explained. But the Norton name stays. The legacy business continues, enhanced by modern technology. And the current CEO transitions to Chairman Emeritus, focusing on strategic partnerships rather than day-to-day operations. The room was absolutely silent. You want to buy my company? My father whispered. I want to save it, I corrected. Transform it into something that honors its history while embracing the future. But it has to happen now, before the market completely passes you by. My mother spoke for the first time. Jonathan, listen to him. He turned to her, startled. In 30 years of board meetings, she'd never spoken up. I've seen what Daniel built, she continued. What he sacrificed to build it. This isn't about winning or losing. It's about family. Family? He barked out a laugh. He abandoned the family business. No, I said quietly. I found a different way to support it. Every feature, every innovation in Enterprise Solutions was designed with Norton Industries in mind. Because despite everything, I never stopped believing in what this company could be. I walked over to his chair, pulled up one more document on my tablet. My original business plan, written in my car that first night after being kicked out. The title read, Project Phoenix, Modernizing Norton Industries Through Independent Innovation. He stared at the document, recognition dawning. This was your plan all along. Plan B, actually. Plan A was convincing you to modernize from within. But you weren't ready to listen then. Charles Wagner stood up. The board needs to vote on this merger proposal by end of day. I suggest we take a brief recess to process this information. People filed out, leaving me alone with my father. He sat there, staring at my business plan, looking lost. Why didn't you tell me? He finally asked. Would you have listened? Really listened, not just heard what you wanted to hear. He was quiet for a long moment. You built all this, using our Wi-Fi? I couldn't help but laugh. That's what you're focusing on? No, He ran a hand through his gray hair. I'm trying to understand how my son went from living in his car to offering to buy my company in less than 2 years. The same way you built this company. By seeing an opportunity everyone else missed. By working harder than anyone thought possible. By believing in something bigger than myself. He nodded slowly. Your grandfather would have loved this, you know. He always said the best business lessons come from proving the skeptics wrong. I learned that from you, actually. All those stories about how you built Morton Industries, how you proved everyone wrong who said it would fail. I sat down next to him. I just did it my way, instead of yours. The board voted unanimously to approve the merger. My father, after the longest pause of my life, voted yes. The transition wasn't smooth. Change never is, especially in family businesses. But slowly, surely, Norton Industries began to transform. We kept the name, but modernized the brand. Kept the core business my grandfather had built, but enhanced it with technology that helped it thrive in the digital age. Smart Start's innovation combined with Norton's stability created something neither company could have achieved alone. 1 year later, I sat in what had been my father's office, our office now, since he'd finally accepted the chairman emeritus role. We were reviewing quarterly numbers, which had exceeded all projections. You were right, he said suddenly. I looked up. About what? About everything. The technology. The market changes. The need to adapt. He met my eyes. I was too proud to see it. Too scared of losing control. And now, he gestured at the tablet, showing our latest results. Now I'm proud of what you built. What we're building together. My phone buzzed. A message from Marcus about a potential new acquisition target. Another struggling family business that needed exactly what we created. Speaking of building, I said, pulling up the proposal. What do you think about expanding our enterprise division? He smiled. The real smile I remembered from childhood, before stress and fear had hardened him. Tell me more. Later that night, I drove past our old house. The Wi-Fi signal was still strong. I'd upgraded their system last month, though they didn't know it. I thought about that first night in my car, coding by the glow of my laptop, running on determination and spite and dreams of proving everyone wrong. But success, I'd learned, wasn't about proving others wrong. It was about proving yourself right. About building something so undeniable that even the strongest skeptics have to acknowledge its value. My phone buzzed again, a family dinner reminder from my mother. These were regular events now, though the conversation had shifted from criticism to collaboration, from judgment to genuine interest. Coming, I texted back. Then, because I couldn't resist, using the Wi-Fi to send this. Her response came quickly. Very funny. Your father says bring the new acquisition proposal. And yes, he's actually smiling about it. I smiled too, thinking of how far we come. From rejection to reunion. From competition to collaboration. From using their Wi-Fi in secret to helping them embrace the digital future. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving someone wrong. It's helping them become right in a whole new way.